Hi, there he is. Hey,
Up.
how you guys doing?
Good.
Welcome to another episode of Supernatural Talk. To start off with, Jeremy will not be joining us tonight because he's still pretty much recovering from his recent surgery. So it's just going to be me and eventually Adrian and Marcus. I don't know if you got word from Eileen, but there's a good likely chance that she's going to either not show up at all or she's going to be here later tonight because she's got to be on some meeting.
Does that mean that my favorite person runs the show?
Wow.
I still
I'm
haven't
just
forgotten when you said that.
I'm just saying. So because Eileen's not here, I can say that, right?
I guess so. I don't see her. I don't see her in the backstage or anything.
She will be seeing this later.
Yeah, that's the only problem. So that's might as well just tell her later tonight, saying, "Oh, by the way, Marcus said this earlier on the show."
We're not recording yet, right? No.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
already recording. I didn't click. I did not click the record button though.
Oh man, that's awesome. How you been, Nick?
I've been doing really well, and Marcus, it's great to have you back once again. And Paul, it's good to meet you for starters.
Nice to meet you.
Good.
Like I said, I don't know where Adrian is right now, but hopefully she should be coming in sometime in another minutes.
Oh, she'll pop in. It's all good.
Jeremy said, "I forgot the whole favorite person deal."
That's awesome.
What's up,
So,
Tom? Good to see you. Happy Thursday.
so we've been busy. We finished out season 3, and we started filming season 4. And the end of season 3 was awesome. It was absolutely a killer. It was great. So unfortunately, Paul couldn't make that one, but
That that's
um,
why it was so good.
that, but he killed it with us in season 4's opener that comes out this October. Long ways away, I know, but uh, yeah, season 3 we finished out with the Myrtles plantation in
Myrtles.
yeah, yeah, in St. Francisville, Louisiana. So it was a great time.
That's awesome. And you know what better way than to find a great location like Myrtles, which is a location I've been wanting to go to for several years. So
You
you
gotta
guys
go.
chose a great location.
Oh, you gotta go. So whenever you watch our episode, um, it's our first 1 hour episode, which I was very excited about. What's up?
Hey, Irene.
Uh, so the murder, down south, and I know you're not from here, but down south, it's a whole different world down here as far as people. The way that we speak and the way that we treat each other. It's just a different way of life, and then you mix in a little bit of historical mystery, and then you mix in a little bit of southern hospitality, and then you throw on top of that a little bit of voodoo, and the whole thing is just amazing.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a great combination. Definitely.
yeah, we had a great time. It was really awesome. We had a new investigator doing the team, and she had a great experience. Who's from Texas? That's awesome.
Yeah,
We
that's what
we
I was
love
wondering.
Texas.
Who's that? Whose friend Irene's talking about? Because obviously, I'm sure you're in the same boat as I. I know a lot of investigators from throughout the state of
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah,
So
yeah. We actually did some investigating in a town called Floresville, Louisiana. Floresville, Texas. I'm sorry. And that whole town was just insane with activity. The whole town. It was crazy. It was so cool.
have have you ever considered about maybe doing like a season in that particular area?
Yeah, I would love to do a whole season over there. That would be awesome. So we investigated 2 locations over there. Adrian,
Yeah, the great disappearing act.
that's great. That's
Boy,
awesome. And Tom, thank you. That's awesome from Texas. Where at in Texas?
And while we're waiting on that, Irene just said this, and I couldn't agree with her more because I've been to West Virginia. It is crazy
I
with
would
a
love
lot
to
of
go
activity. Oh, what I could tell you right now is because long story short, I went there back in 2016, and we actually were going for the Mothman Festival out in Point Pleasant,
awesome.
West Virginia. It's a great event. I mean, I've been wanting to go back for the last couple of years, and there's not only just your typical Paracon. I mean, they got a lot of the big name, like cryptozoological names. They usually have like a Mothman hunt right afterwards, which I took part of. It's definitely, there's a lot more than just the Mothman, though. There's a lot of history in that part of the state of West Virginia, so
For
it
sure.
does not disappoint.
Well, everything and West Virginia is on the East Coast, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything, to me, my personal opinion only, but the Las Cruces. Okay. Yeah. Next to El Paso. Okay.
Close to the New Mexico Texas border.
Yeah. Boy, yeah, that's a great place. I'd love to get a little further that direction. If you have a location over there, hey.
Oh, there she is.
The party's here. Yes.
What's
Yeah.
up, Adrian? Jan was just commenting about you just a second ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I do?
Oh, she just simply said this. You did a great disappearing act.
It's called work and having to deal with HR.
Here's your answer too, by the way, where Antone is from, Weatherford, Texas.
Weatherford, Texas. Okay.
If you
Very
get a
cool.
chance to go, if you're looking at Texas, oh my goodness, Old Park Hotel,
I knew you were going to bring that one up.
Old Park Hotel. Where's that at?
Ballinger, Texas.
I don't
You
know
need
who
to
this.
text me that.
I don't know who this Facebook user is.
Okay, I can now. Please don't be like the what?
I don't know who this is and what they're saying, but then I don't know if it's the same person saying why we can't see comments. It doesn't seem very interactive. Who is it? Just out of curiosity?
I'm not sure who it is, but I can promise you, I'm as interactive as it gets.
Yeah.
I can promise you, I'm nothing like the other shows. But if you get offended easily, just don't.
She appears. Oh, wait. I think Jeremy I don't know if it's the same person that
Joshua?
said, please don't.
Joshua,
I
you
don't
know
if
me
it's the
better
same-
than that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's two different people as
gotta be.
Facebook user.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Because Joshua, I know, doesn't talk like that, so it has to be somebody else. West Texas Paracon is coming up. I didn't hear about that one.
How come I'm seeing the mess here and not the wonderful tank? There we go.
So, Marcus, I'm sorry I cut you off. You were saying more
Yeah.
about West Virginia?
Yeah, so the whole East Coast up till freaking all the way north to Boston. I mean, everything over there. I would love to just investigate the entire East Coast. It's Savannah, Georgia, all of those great locations. But definitely, is it Point Pleasant in West
Point
Virginia?
Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's-
literally right. It's literally right on the Ohio West Virginia border.
Yeah. Did you see the Mothman?
I didn't see the Mothman, but I actually did believe I may have felt his presence in one of the TMT bunkers that they had. I mean, I can't really say for sure, but I always usually have told people, if you want to call it a Mothman encounter that I had, so be it. But it's a creepy area. I mean, a lot of the locals will tell you they don't know about anyone else, but the paranormal people, they love to come up there no matter what the case is. They never leave disappointed. Of course, I'm one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What about you, Adrian? Did you ever want to go to the East Coast and do some cool stuff?
I do. Now, whether I'll get there or not might be a whole different story. But I've been to Louisiana. I was actually there. No, she's filling in for a boss, Jan. I was there. I was helping take FEMA trailers down after Katrina. Of course, I was much younger then and could handle that heat. That was. But I imagine if I was investigating that place, that would be the place to do it.
Yeah.
Point Pleasant or
No, Louisiana.
Louisiana?
Yeah.
But I've investigated Galveston, Texas.
Very cool. Very cool.
Another place I've been wanting to go to.
Well, if I was smarter, I would have investigated instead of took the tour. And those tours are just, I mean, yes, you can kind of back off a little bit and get a sense if you can
Sure.
feel, you can get a sense of it. But in a tour, you really can't feel what's going on. Or, everybody talking. If something was talking to you, you wouldn't know. Something dropped, you'd think somebody else did it. So it was a lot different, but
Right.
it was neat just to know how many people died on that island. And the
Oh,
building
it's a
that we
lot.
were in was where they put the bodies. And I took us in the elevator, and then all of a sudden he was telling a story, and he was dressed up, and he turned and he went, rah, it was something like that. Scared the crap out of me. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done.
Well, Marcus, that's actually something, because you think of an area like Galveston, which has got so much history, which, of course, the most notorious part of it is undoubtedly the Galveston hurricane of 1900. And I actually do. I don't know if you've ever seen when I've done my show, Nick Files, of the presentations. I do an annual presentation every year on September 8th or close to September 8th on the Galveston hurricane itself. So I literally go from literally start to finish. It's a
You need
very...
to send me that link. I'm sorry to cut you off. You need to send me that link because I haven't seen that. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, it's probably one of my best works that I've done, because I've had to literally cut into two parts because it's such a very long presentation.
Yeah.
But it's really one of the best, because again, I really go into detail, and not only just that, I mean, it even actually does become kind of emotional at times, because it's a very sad story to
For
talk
sure.
about, especially when you have all the depths. But what's even more amazing, and I will be honest, I took some of this from a documentary because I thought this was really fascinating. There was also a famous meteorologist that was involved in this hurricane named Isaac Klein. So we're not only just talking about the hurricane itself, we're also talking about a notorious meteorologist that did his best to save the town before it was wiped out. And in fact, my presentation's even named after the book, Isaac Storm. So yeah, I'll definitely send you a link.
Yeah, that is
definitely.
neat. Yeah, and if you ever get out this way, we have I'm going to go this summer. There's a lot of, I've only lived here 3 years now in Colorado, so I'm still learning.
What part of Colorado?
I'm about an hour from Denver. I'm in Greeley.
Greeley?
Mm-hmm.
My sister-in-law is from Greeley.
Really?
That's up by oh goodness, I can't remember the name of the other town my brother and his wife used to live in. They live in,
Evans?
no, it was north of there where Otterbox is from.
Oh, that's connected. The Otterbox plant is right there connected. Fort Collins.
Fort Collins, that's where he lives.
Okay. Yeah, we go there. We try to go there as many Saturdays as we can and go have breakfast with the veterans.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, hey, Anton, how you doing, honey?
So you guys know who this Facebook user is, because I'm doing the same thing now that Jeremy does. It has to be from Things Universe. That is Robert White from Australia.
There's
Hey, Robert.
Hi, Robert. You know better. Get on the right page, dude. A lot of them, they're like, who was it earlier? Joshua. He was on Things of Colorado, so that's why it's not
Josh?
showing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go to all the ghost towns. All
There you
Some
go.
of
Now
the
you can see it,
ghosts-
Josh.
mining
Sorry,
towns.
Adrian.
Thank you. That's awesome. The mining towns here, I would like to see those. Just walk through them. No tours, no garbage, none of that.
Right.
Just go through it.
Have you been to the Pueblo ruins up in the mountains?
Jan, help me out. I don't think so. I used to live. No.
They're like
That's
over,
here. No.
yeah, they're over west of Breckenridge and stuff. The Pueblo Indians lived in on the edges of the mountains, and when you walk through there, it is just creepy.
Jan has.
Jan, that's not where you went last summer, is it? That's not the hieroglyphs that you took pictures of?
It's funny you brought that up because, and I've told you this,
Petroglyphs. Oh my
Adrian, is that
gosh.
an area like that, I'm surprised I didn't know about many years sooner, because when I was really young, up until my high school years, my family and I used to go to Colorado, during the last couple of weeks of summer before we went back to school, and we often did frequently visited Breckenridge, and going through the years before high school, I was already, as I've already said, I was already studying paranormal at a young age, so I'm really surprised I didn't know about this place, that we were just literally probably not too far from that location.
Yeah, it's west of Breckenridge when you're coming down the other side of the mountain.
Hey, Scott.
But the huts are still there. They were just I mean, it's not huts. It's built into the side of the mountain. But when you're walking through there, you swear people are staring at you the whole time.
I'm going to have
really?
to write that down because we're looking for other places. Now, we went to the Abbey here, Holy Cross Abbey up in Canyon
Brad's
City.
here, Adrian.
He hasn't said anything bad to me yet. I'm going to hold
Not
it.
yet, but just let you know.
I'm waiting.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Breckenridge. I'm writing that down so that I can look into that. Thank you, Joshua. We love you too. The Holy Cross Abbey was amazing. It really was. Nick was there.
It was
the whole
intense.
gang was here, but I know there's lots of other places here, and I'd like to see them all. When Jeremy came down, he was doing his bowling. That's what it was. We went to the only all African-American village that was here. What happened was when they turned the slaves loose, they said, here, if you can survive, this is your land. Have fun. Well, they thrived. And they had a dance hall. They had it was amazing. The things that they had there. Of course, most of it's ruins now. But the man's, Mr. Jackson's house is still standing. We got to look in the windows there. The grocery store is still gas station is still standing. And they're getting ready it's still up in the air, whether they tear it down or build a park in the place. And I'm just glad we got to see it before any of that happened. And You could almost hear, like, they would sit up on the rafters and play music. And you could almost hear them jump down.
That's awesome.
It was really a neat thing. Now, the mosquitoes killed us. They hadn't seen humans in so long, and it was hot, and it had just rained. It was dusk. And getting out of the car, you could see them cover us. And it was that miserable. But we took that 10, 15 minutes, got ate up, and toured it. So that's probably the last time we'll ever see it.
Oh, by the way, Brad said this to you, Adrian.
The fuck?
Yeah.
The fuck? What?
I don't know where that came from.
The fuck? What? Brad. Let's just get this over with right now. Don't let me find your ass.
Orange on
When I do, I'm going to bury you ass up so I can kick it. You look orange.
Now look what Jan just said.
I'm not because I'm not getting political, but we all know where I was going. I'm not Mrs. Cheeto Man. Amazing. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joshua. Thank
There
you.
you go.
Yeah, I knew I loved you for a reason. Brad.
So I know you guys haven't met Paul. This is his first time on the show with me, but this is Paul, and he's my right-hand man on the show.
Hello.
Hey,
I'm not staying on video because I'm actually holding my phone, so it's all wobbly. I don't want to get people drunk. Ooh.
you know what? Tough crap.
Okay, well then I'll hold it just for you.
There you go. Just join in with the rest of us.
He's my right-hand man. I really couldn't do what I do without him.
Technically, I'm left-handed, so
He keeps me He keeps me on the straight and narrow. And so I wanted to invite him tonight to come on the show with us because, you know, some of the things that he's experienced as a skeptic have really proven to be truly convincing to some people. So, you know, he would be happy to answer any questions that some of you fine people have out there. Is my friend here tonight from Ireland, Jenny?
Jenny, no, I have not seen her come on.
No, well, actually, although she hasn't been watching this show, she was briefly on the earlier show I was doing earlier this afternoon.
It's pretty
cool.
late for her, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, because I know
early in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I know in Ireland and the UK, because I think they're on the same time zone. It's got to be about at least 1 or 2
4
o'clock
a.m.?
in the morning over there.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like she should have stayed up.
Usually she does. But
There comes a point she needs her beauty sleep.
Yeah.
in the case in the case with Robert White out in Australia, that's a different story. It's got to be like probably about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning over there. So they're just starting their day.
They're waking up.
2:30
Robert's
a.m.
a night owl. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. Yep. See,
Only
he just said
11:30
it.
There it is. There it is.
It's 11:30
a.m. It's almost noon. He's fine.
I said 10 or 11. I was close.
Oh,
1:30
1:30.
1:30 for Jenny.
And okay, I can understand that. But it's still bedtime. It's still bedtime. So tell me, where do you live, Paul?
Sulphur, Louisiana.
Louisiana,
Southwest
okay.
Louisiana. I'm about 24 miles from the Texas border on I-10.
Okay. So you're still on that end. Okay.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm pretty close to being a Texan.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's
No, ma'am.
nothing wrong with that. I can deal with a Texan any day before I can deal with most anybody else.
A lot of other people, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell y'all, but 80% of the people that live north of the Mason-Dixon line are not good people. So I'm just have to say that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I agree. I agree. This is a culture shock here.
And down here, there's only 2 forks on every family tree, so can't really talk bad about people down here.
It's a big state. I mean, if you have to marry into your family, there's more issues going on than.
I don't know if it's so much a have to as it is a want to. I'm just saying.
Wait, we have choices?
I hope so.
No, I'm joking. This is not Alabama. We're in
Or
Louisiana.
Arkansas.
Hey, wait.
Before Brad.
Wait, my family's from Arkansas. Let's not bring them into it.
Oh my God.
So's my sister.
I gotta show what Jeremy said. You know I love this, Adrian. If your family tree does not fork, you might be a redneck.
That's
come on. Okay. That's not true because I'll tell you, I'm complete redneck, and that shit don't happen. Although I was adopted and sent way away. Now I know why. Because the town that I was adopted from is a town of, I want to say back then it was like 600 people. So
your family.
And so for a long time, I couldn't figure out why my dad was like, who are you dating? Where are they from? Where's their family from? And I'm like, I don't know, don't care. He's like, oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And then, of course, I was 21. I was already married and 21, met my family. And I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
They were close enough to my age. They were nice. I probably would have dated them had I not known. So thank God I got way away from there.
That's how you. Yeah.
Somebody saved me. But you know, all those redneck jokes, if you have earrings that can, double as fishing lures. Oh yeah, I do. And we'll use them. Have no problem with that.
Well, I mean, you gotta be prepared at all times. I understand that.
And the gun on my hip. Yep. It happens.
That's funny. Well, my family's from my dad's side of the family is from Pickles Gap, Arkansas. If that tells you anything about my dad's family.
Pickles Gap. That's an actual town name.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
town
yeah.
name. It's about 30 minutes north of Conway, Arkansas. It's a little caution light hole in the wall. Pickles
Wow.
Gap. Look it up. It's there.
I want to say my sister lives near there.
Oh, no
have
way.
a view. I usually have a
Does
good.
she,
Go
does
ahead,
she
go
live
ahead.
near Toadsuck, Arkansas?
Toad suck. Yep.
Toadsuck, home of the International Toad Festival. I have family that live there as well.
In
Wow.
Oklahoma, where I grew up. I grew up in Kansas, but grew up in Oklahoma. There's a rattlesnake festival that we used to always go to. Rattlesnake's good food.
Rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake
yeah.
tastes very good.
It does. Put it on the grill. Oh yeah, pigeon. Put it on the grill.
Pigeon, haven't had that.
Oh, on the grill, it's amazing.
Never knew anything about this before.
I told you that you're.
Welcome to Redneckville.
We need to countrify you a little bit because you are missing so much. If you think camping is in a camper, you've lost your damn mind.
You know, we do have one, right?
Yeah, I do know. And I know that you have never laid your ass on that ground with a rock as a pillow with a fishing pole right here.
Actually, I have. Not
The
not
rednecks are
down
going to take
south,
over.
Not down south, but up in Michigan at the very least.
You did what? What exactly did you do? Nick?
Actual camping.
What did you sleep on?
It was virtual camping. Don't let him lie.
It was
In a tent.
glamping.
It was virtual camping. They went to some studio and they put it in the background. Everybody thought they were outside, crickets playing.
So,
Yeah,
so an
that
air
is-
mattress doesn't account for camping.
Come
No.
camping
No,
with
it
me.
does not.
If
Why
you
are
don't
you
dig, if you don't dig a stick or a pine cone out your butt halfway through the night, you haven't been camping.
Did you dig a little hole for your potty and then bury it in the morning?
No, I
I
didn't.
didn't think so.
No,
You
I
didn't camp.
didn't. Why do I get the feeling what Jan just said, saying come camping with her? Feel like if I go camping with her, I'll never get out alive.
You'll get that shovel and you will make yourself a little potty and then you will bury it.
Hey,
I'm making it afraid. Maybe. Otherwise, I'll pass.
just
That's
for
excellent.
safety, get one of those
What?
those eye tabs that keep track of you and put it in your shoe if you go camping with her.
What the hell is that supposed to mean, Robert? No outfits?
Nick and a no. Fishing Nick.
What? What the hell is that? Does that have anything to do with camping?
I'm not sure how to take that, Nick, but I think it's very funny.
Well, I mean, it's pretty funny to me, but I don't know how that has anything to do with camping whatsoever.
Wait,
You need to
Joshua
go
wants to
camping,
go
Nick.
on naked and afraid. I'll pass. I need at least have shoes on.
Oh,
I agree with that.
Well,
That will never happen with me.
I
That
just
is
don't know.
not going to happen.
I wouldn't have to worry
I
about being
might
attacked
die.
by animals because when the animals saw me, they'd
in
start
my younger
dying laughing.
days, I might have.
Don't go and fish in the
I
lake.
might have in my younger days.
Oh God. Well, anyway.
So this went from paranormal to camping and bashing Nick. I see this. I like it.
Don't even. That's a common thing that happens to me a lot.
So,
At least you haven't called these guests a dick yet. That's common too.
I haven't been. Wait, now I'm offended. I haven't been called a dick.
that's because Eileen's not here.
Do what? Oh,
Now
I
she
mean-
refrains from using that word. Nick is the one that did that.
if they know me personally, Marcus, what do you think they would say?
Well, so there was a question earlier from Jan.
Uh-oh.
And
Oh God. I'm skipping that one.
Robert.
Believe he just said that.
Well, look at the way he worded that. There's nothing wrong with the way he worded that. What are you reading into it, Nick?
I'm
will
not
say
reading
you're
into
good.
any of it. I know what he's trying to say, but I am not going any further.
If you're a great fisherman, you have to be one of those.
That's,
That's
it.
right. And sometimes when you work for a crawfish farm, when you get really good at it, you become one.
Yep. Crawfish. I tell you what, I did not realize, but here we went fishing last summer at the just a little man-made lake here in Greeley pond. And there was these crawfish come up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look, I put it on the hook. Come to find out, they had a sign posted that said, if you find those, kill them immediately. Get them out of the water and kill them.
What?
Because they're taking over. Whatever it is, they're like a alien species to this
An
area. So
invasive species?
Invasive,
they're taking
yeah.
over. I'm
My
like,
brother probably turned those out when we
What's
sent him
up,
crawfish
Chris?
to boil.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, for
I-
sure.
I don't care what kind they are. They are in the water.
If you need us to come help you cultivate that, we can get you a really good business going up there.
There we go. I tell you what, I have no problem bringing them home and doing a crawfish boil at all. I looked in Walmart the other day. They had those little bags of crawfish, like, I don't know, probably a pound. I'm not
Okay.
sure. $15. I'm like,
For the tails, or were they whole crawfish?
a whole.
Oh, that's
I
too.
wouldn't eat that. That's from Wuhan, China.
Probably. And they were
You
fully
might want to
cooked.
stay away from those.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
Nick's
You're
dying over
sneaky.
there. He must be muted. You okay, Nick?
Yeah, I'm fine. I love the comments.
Come on, Rosie. You need a vacation too. Come up here. We'll do this.
No. Y'all both come down here. We'll do it for you.
That's probably the best place to do it. You
Yeah.
can get them a lot cheaper and they'd be a lot fresher.
Don't
I don't
come
boast
this
a lot.
year.
I won't boast a lot, but I will say that we can probably boil crawfish better than you guys.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt.
But don't
no
come
doubt.
this year. We had a drought this year. Boiled crawfish are like $16 a pound. Normally they're around $4 a pound.
Wow.
Yeah,
Terrible.
this crawfish season, they're thinking about going ahead and shutting it down so that way next year there's more crawfish.
True. That's okay, Rosie. You can still come up here for a vacation.
But you can come. We got good blue crabs. They cook them.
Oh,
the
I
same
love
way.
crab. Chris, dude,
Oh God.
where are you coming? You have an open invitation here. I don't want to hear your bullshit.
So Jan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Adrian. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
But Jan lived next to the Skinwalker Ranch. She said,
Yes,
"That's
she did.
awesome." First of all, that's amazing. A while ago, you asked Paul how he felt about the paranormal now that he does what he does. I'd love to hear that answer.
Yeah, I'm going back to look for it.
Oh yeah, let's go back to paranormal. Marcus is
Now back away from the
Paranormal
crawfish and
and
back to
everything.
the
Yeah, I'm
Now
hungry
that
now.
I'm
We got to
hungry.
stop talking about food. First off, I'm gonna say, and Marcus is gonna hate me for this. 99% of orbs are dust particles in video. That's enough. Stop it.
I agree with that. I
I'm
agree
with
with
you.
that.
There it
For
is.
every paranormal investigator ever to catch stuff on video, 99.9% of those are dust particles.
I agree with that to a point,
Stop it.
but there is some
Marcus is getting mad.
yes, if you were to take something and blow it up enough,
It don't matter if it changes directions. I don't care. It's a dust particle.
It's
I don't
it's
know.
not the direction change. It's
Here we go. Here we go.
It's the decisive movement.
Decisive. You mean intelligent movement?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, how many? And this is very few, but how
I said
many?
99.9. There's 0.01.
Yeah, how many orbs though will follow you somewhere? If it's a dust particle, it's not going to follow you. It's going to fall, or it's going to swift off in the wind.
Right.
If it's a bug, you can
aerodynamics
zoom
will
in and
pull
see little
wind
wings.
around your
Looks
back
like a
end.
rod.
Okay,
So-
enough about dust particles because we're all going to get in a big fight over that. because Marcus
I
believes
don't argue.
99%
I
of
don't
dust
argue either.
particles. You agree with me, Nick?
I actually do. I mean, I do agree that a lot of them usually are, mainly dust particles. But,
A lot are, yes.
in the past, I think we could all agree that in the past, I think we've all seen some exceptions of certain ones. Because I'll just give you a quick example and I already debunked this real quick. Now I'm still good friends with this person. She's a good person. She lives out in Maryland, and she sent me this like 4 years ago. About that, she claimed that her house, it wasn't even just the pictures. She was going right down to the case that they said that this house was haunted by a demon or whatever. They sent me pictures of them, these orbs, saying that these are orbs from the demon itself. And I'm just like, oh God,
The demon issue pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm like, really going that direction, really? And first of all, I live in Illinois, so I can't go over to Maryland and help this person out. I honestly really don't even know why she turned to me for help. I mean, it's great if they want to share their stories, but the pictures and stuff like that,
right?
I don't know. I wasn't convinced that these were legitimate. Even if they were, I really wasn't convinced that they were legitimate orb photos.
Hey, here's the big question. I want everybody to answer this question. We've all gotten it. Oh, here, check this out. Look, I got this. Or this is in my home. Or this is, and they show you a picture or a video or a whatever it is. What is your answer when somebody shows you that? Mine is probably pretty shitty, but.
Oh, that's
I did not say that, Jeremy. Don't even go that direction.
I guess it all depends on what it is. I mean, if it's something that is interesting, I'd have to tell them it was interesting. If I thought it was BS or something like that, I think I'd have to be honest with them. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and make them think that what I see is what they see. Because, I mean, that hasn't really happened a lot with us.
You're lucky.
Yet. It's probably happened more with Marcus than it has with me, but I know we've hunted some places and they're like, oh, check this out. And I'm like, man, there's got to be something to that. It's not what you think, or just, some of it's just obvious what it is or what it's not.
So I agree with Paul 100%, and I stand behind that answer. But to be fair, doing what we do offer to explore it to the extent of our abilities, to make sure that they at least feel as comfortable as we can make them feel in their home or in their whatever it is. To even if we know right off the bat, like, okay, well, that looks like a tree to me. I'm sorry, but
Jeremy,
you know what? We'll go and explore that tree, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that the fairies are not surrounding your tree at night. And that's what we offer, as a service.
Right. As a service, yes. If we were to go there. But I mean, just somebody sending you pictures. Nick?
Yeah.
What's your answer?
Oh, like when it comes to the orb pictures?
No. Just somebody sending you. Thank you, baby.
Oh.
Somebody sending you pictures.
You're welcome, honey.
Ooh.
Ooh, what you got?
You got there.
Potato and ham soup with cheese, grilled turkey. Trying to make me lose weight. I got you.
Not with potatoes. They're not trying to get you to lose weight. Potatoes go straight to your hips.
That's okay. My hips are going to get big enough that I can move them walls.
So you were saying about the pictures, like, someone sends them to me. What?
Just any picture that they send you that, what do you think of this? Or, oh my gosh, this happened in my house, or, whatever the case might be.
So, I mean, I think a lot of us are like this too. I will not send a direct answer immediately, like 30 seconds after they send it to me. I do try to look it over, kind of analyze it. Or sometimes I've sent it to you guys to get your personal opinions on it, because there are times that I have a difficult time. I think, well, maybe I should check with others and see what everyone else thinks.
Right.
But they're actually,
Right.
I've actually told this story before, though, that the one time where I've done the quickest review on a photograph, it was actually from an investigation. Adrian, you probably heard this story so many times. We went on this was like 10 years ago now. We were investigating the Rossville Opera House, which is further down in a central part of the state. And at one point we were like taking one of our breaks, and one of the guys, he runs back. He's like, guys, you're not going to believe what I just captured. I got a shadowy figure of a soldier or something standing in the hallway.
Okay.
He shows me the picture of it. And I look at him like, you can't possibly expect me to believe this. That figure, that's me standing in the doorway, a shadow of me. And there's more. I'm like, oh, and this, he's like, but there's a figure wearing a hat. He's holding a gun. Okay, first up, I was wearing a cap forward, and a supposed gun that was in the figure's hand, that was me holding my phone.
Well, and that's good that you could debunk that, but I can see where he could see that being where you were. So I
Right.
understand.
Yeah,
Can I get some salt, please?
I gotta bring up the
So-
topics. I gotta bring up
want
the
you to
topics.
ruin
my
I made a good way of like orbs, SBRO, some bright, ridiculous objects.
You know, I've had people do that to me, which is people I don't know. Now, if I know them, I know their home, and that's different. That would be like if Marcus was to send you something. You know the home, you know what goes on there, you know that's different. Jan sends me stuff. I know the home. I've been there. I know the home. But like somebody sending me something, my words are, I'm sorry, I can't without being there. I don't know what was going on. I don't know the conditions around the camera. I don't know who was in the home. I don't know the lighting. Try taking it again, same time of day. I don't know. And I will never give a definitive answer on anything. Like I won't discount them because they're the ones having issues in their home. But
Yeah.
unless I'm there, I can't say. And I don't want to.
I agree with that. And you can ask Paul. I've sent him pictures that somebody has sent me, and I'm like, I want your opinion, and I won't give my opinion until he gives me his, because I already have mine formed, and I want to hear what his is without influencing him. And his is always, it's nothing, but
Not always.
not always. No,
I didn't say
but
that about that video of whatever that was that went through the not the garage, through the carport of that people's house.
Oh yeah, no, that was weird. But no, I agree though. I usually tell the people like, this is our opinion. This is what we think.
Mhm.
But without further exploration or without being there, it's hard to be definitive, And
Right.
we would love to be there and see it. So,
Be back in just a
Um,
second.
that's the way that we approach it. That's the way I try to approach it, at least.
Right. And if
but-
more people did, I think people would ask us to come and, view it for ourselves. They think, and here's the other thing. If you are a medium, a sensitive, whatever, I don't put that out there because of that
Right.
reason. Because they'll say, well, if you're this, then you should be able to sense what's here. It doesn't work that
Well,
way.
that- yeah,
No, it
does
doesn't.
not.
It doesn't.
I mean, I'm
you know-
sorry.
If you're a true
I don't
medium,
know.
how come I don't have the winning lottery numbers?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
How
Yeah,
many times do you
exactly.
hear that?
If I and so I don't claim to be any of those things,
hmm
but I can tell you this: if I walk into a location, and this happened with the last location we just investigated a year ago, this guy contacted me and asked me to come and loan him a night vision camera. He was shooting a quick video for his YouTube channel. And I walked in the place, and as soon as I walked in the place, and this house is in very much disrepair. It's kind of falling apart, and they're redoing it. But I walked into the place, and the first thing that I felt was I was cold, and I smelled smoke. And I was like, man, it's really weird. And he goes, oh, yeah. He said, it's got like 5 fireplaces in it. And I'm like, okay. And then I walked into the kitchen, and I'm like, there's a guy here that's not here. And that's just, I don't see it. I'm not, it's not like this is not a visual thing. I'm not seeing any kind of movement. It's just something that I kind of felt. And I told him that. And then he tells me the story, and he's like, well, actually, people see a guy in here leaning against his refrigerator with a lunchbox. And then he tells me a story about the guy who built it and jumped off of a balcony and killed himself and all this stuff. And that episode is going to come out in season 4. We just recently filmed. But
it was
I don't
cold.
promote myself as that. I don't say because I'm not a psychic. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium. I don't claim to be, and I don't think that I am, but I do. And Adrian, you know, I do feel things when I walk into places, especially if they're high energy or heavy energy. I really feel those a lot.
I definitely agree with a lot of that, Marcus. I couldn't agree with you more, because there's it's just like anything else. Like, you're going to have that kind of experience one way or another.
Right.
It's strange. I can give readings to people, and like Rosie said, if they want to come through, that's it.
Yeah.
You can't demand something to happen or whatever.
Exactly.
But I can give readings. If I did today, and almost wished I didn't. It was a young lady who'd lost her mom, and those are the hardest to do, and be honest. But if the person doesn't want to connect with you, it's not going to happen. I cannot walk into a location. Now I can feel if something's there, but I cannot, oh yeah, so I'm going to talk to him now. I'm not Amy Allen. I cannot do that.
That's right.
I don't want to do that. I'd like to know their story, but it's not going to happen. So,
right.
That's
and
where I'm
Amy's
stuck.
awesome. I love Amy.
Yeah,
She's
Amy's
great.
I do too. I do too. I'd just never be her.
I can't tell you how much my dad likes watching that show a lot, and I watch it with him. So, of course, I know she's taking a break from doing Dead Files, and then
a well-deserved break. She's been on there for a long time.
I'm trying to remember. I can't believe I already forgot her name. I could see her face already. How can I?
Yeah, I can't remember either. I have not seen one of hers yet.
Oh, honestly, have you seen a Marcus or?
I saw the very first one.
Cindy Kaza.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know her. I mean, as far as know her, I don't know her.
Greg knows her, and honestly, she's not really any different than. Obviously, she does things differently.
Thank you, Rosie.
Yeah, thanks, Rosie. She's obviously she does things a lot more differently than Amy, but for the most part,
yes,
I think she still does a pretty good job for it. So, I think she was pretty good for the job, taking over Amy's role.
I agree.
Well, nobody does it the same. Nobody does.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say. If somebody contacted all 4 of us and asked us to go and investigate their property, we would all 4 do it just a little bit different and come up with a similar result. If something's there, we would come up with a similar result, right? As long as it wanted to speak with us. So,
right.
Different doesn't mean wrong. It just means different. And
that's
why
No, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, that's why I really tried to whenever I started putting this team together, I started with my wife and then Paul. Like I started with them, and Paul, he's my best friend for, 30 years now. And
oh no, I'm only 21 years old.
Right. So, yeah.
What are you talking about? 30 years.
Woo. So, but I know his thought process, and his thought process is almost the exact opposite of mine when it comes to these things. And so it keeps me in check. And I also counteract that and keep him in check. And I really try to comprise my team of people who, I don't want to say contradict each other, but people who at least can disagree and come to an equal conclusion through disagreement. You know what I mean?
Talk about it. Yeah.
It's a much better. Usually
like
we
don't
come to
want
a better
yes
conclusion.
people.
Absolutely. My husband and I are the same way. He's a skeptic. I mean, it's not that he doesn't believe. He's a skeptic. And I need that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way he is.
And let me know it's really there.
Right. Yeah. Yep. But it's and Joshua just said it's very important. Yeah. I agree. It's very important to me, at least, because I'm big on honesty, right? So we don't do anything on our show that's not exactly the way it is while we're there. And Paul keeps me very honest with my experiences and with his experiences. And when Paul comes to me, he's like, Marcus, I don't know what this is, or this really looks like something. I know that it's got to be something, because he's not going to come to me with something that is nothing and try and convince me it's something. I know that.
Right. So. And we need that. That's Nick, Jeremy, Jan. Of course, Jan and I do things more than what, the rest of the team does. We all try to collaborate together when we're doing residentials or whatever. No matter how far apart we are, we can still do that.
Right.
But I just did a few weeks ago with Joe and his crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's amazing. We need that.
Yes.
Thank you, baby. When we first started, we met when I was like 12, and we had our first date. 12 years old, what are you going to do? Stand out in the driveway and talk.
Yeah.
But the next time I saw him 32 years later, I'm like, come on, we're doing a paranormal thing. I'll come through and get you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Adrian.
Keep going, Adrian.
Robert.
You were talking about your 12-year-old self being on a date, and I blurted it out, and it was awkward. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it was funny because the next time I was like, hey, so I'm a paranormal investigator now, and come on, I'm coming through there. I'll pick you up. Let's go. He's like, okay. Had no idea what he was getting into. We went to the temple in Salina, and this place is huge and it's amazing. And they were having a convention at that point. We were having a type of Paracon, and we get back to the motel room, and he wakes up and he says, "Did you call my name?" I'm like, "No, I was asleep. Remember, I was up all night investigating." What? He says, "Nothing. Never mind." Okay. In the morning, you sure you didn't call my name? No, but whatever you connected with in that room, damn sure did.
Right.
But you need to leave it here because we're not doing this. But, he's had a couple experiences, but nothing definitive to where we can say it was absolutely nothing else. He could still think it was me. There's no proving it. Tickled his feet. No, I wish. He'd have really been up.
Yeah, I'll show a picture. Hang on. Yeah, I'll show a picture of the temple. Give me a second here. I mean, this place. Well, no, I mean, I should have a picture of it somewhere. Give me 1 second here.
I was not talking in my sleep, but even if I was, I would not be calling his name. I hadn't seen him in 32 years.
If y'all shared a hotel room and you weren't calling his name, that was a dull night.
So, let me tell you, this is the redneck in me. This is the redneck in me. Okay. We had been planning this for about 8 months.
Oh my God.
Here
Not
we
enough
go.
time. But so one of our friends, probably 350-pound dude. He
Oh, I
walks
know who
up.
they were talking about.
No,
Yep.
yeah, I know you know. He says, "Hey, Granny, I'll drink your ass under the table." I said, "Oh yeah? What you want to bet?" He says, "You buy the shots and I'll show you." I'm like, "All right, let's do this. What are we buy? What are we drinking?" He said, "Fireball." I said, "Okay." We get there. There's a bunch of us there. I mean, from all over. And we all knew we were meeting at the bar that night. We were singing karaoke, singing Ghostbusters, all kinds of stuff. We were having all kinds of fun. I look over. Now, I'm buying shots all night. I look over. That dude's passed out. The one that called me out on Facebook every day before we went. "Granny, you can't do this shit. You'll pass out. Granny, you can't." Oh, don't think I didn't take those pictures. I'm like, you little fucker.
So the moral of the story is, if you want free alcohol, just challenge you, and you'll pay for it.
Pretty much.
I like
That
that.
was, he
I
was
like
a
that.
20-year-old that wanted to act like I didn't know what I was doing. He was, and really I didn't, but it
Which
worked out.
unfortunately I was not there to witness because I was back in my hotel room for that. And
Yeah,
nobody
because
told
he
me,
missed the
and no one
memo.
told me about it.
So you missed the free shots, Nick.
He
No one
missed the
told
whole
me about
memo.
it.
He
Here's
missed
a
the
picture
dancing
of
on the tables. He missed, I mean, there was, Eileen was one of them. She was there.
Oh,
We were all
wow.
having all kinds of fun.
So I'm going to show that picture real quick, just so you guys get the idea of what the temple looks like.
The
This was
outside of the
actually
temple.
from John who took this picture. I think this is the best one. It's in black
He's a
and
hell
white.
of a photographer. Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
he is. Check this out. It's not an old picture. It's a modern day picture, just in black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
That looks like a cool building.
It is
Oh.
massive. It's
It's
huge.
amazing.
What is it? A Masonic
That's
temple?
awesome.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Yes,
it is.
Look at the scroll work at the top of the columns.
What?
Yep.
We had access to the whole building, including the Masonic. Now, they sold the temple. I don't know why, but they only have access to the top floor now where they do their meetings.
Oh, they still do the meetings there.
Yes,
Yes, they
just the
do.
top floor, but we had access to their meeting place as well and their Bibles. Now, the Bible they left out was not obviously
They
the
hid all the
Bible with
good
the names
stuff.
in it.
Yeah, they hid all the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
no, they
yeah.
didn't.
Well, we got to go see it too. We got.
No,
to see
they
all that.
didn't, because
Oh, we didn't. I thought we did.
here's the funny part. We're there, and these ladies had just taken over. They're amazing, but they're getting all this activity, and they're like, we don't even like be in here by ourselves. They have to close it up. We go upstairs, and they had their playroom where they, had the props and stuff for the plays. The first time we were there, we're looking at stuff, and I said, "Why do you have a human skull?"
Oh God, the skull.
And she goes,
Yeah.
"It's not real." I said,
Yes,
"Yes, it is." I said, "How do you not think this is?" Never mind. I've seen enough carcasses in my life to know this is real. And it's held together. The jaw was held together by some wire, and some teeth were missing.
Oh yeah, that's real.
And I'm like, and so they called the police in after we came.
They did. I didn't know that.
No, this is after the first time we came.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't remember any cops there when we were there.
Oh, no. This is after we had left anyway.
Okay.
But she called a police friend of hers, and she said, "I need to know if this is real." And she goes, "Yep." And she said, "That's a
Wow.
female." And it looked adolescent female, like
They-
maybe teens.
Yeah, I remember someone saying that they said supposedly the skull belonged to like a 14-year-old girl. That's what they said.
That's a myth. I don't know if they ever
Okay.
aged it like that.
So it wasn't
But-
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, so the lady was like, "This really is." Well, there hadn't been too many people investigate the whole thing. And I my dumbass went up into a closet up there in their room where they built wood and did different things with wood. And I'm looking in the closet, one of my first investigations ever. And there's this doll sitting up in the top of the closet. And I'm like, oh, cool. Oh. And do you have a picture of Lucy?
I don't, but I could probably get one from the page because I know she's got her own page.
Yeah, she's got her own page now.
Yeah, give me a minute.
But those old conductors that they used to put on light posts that have the round top, and then they had like the different places you put the wire, but it was all glass.
No, the insulators.
The glass.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
They cut that off, and just the round part, they cut the doll's head in half and put that insulator on there. But
this is a good one.
We can't see in her head though. This is what they had made. This is an 1800s doll.
Oh, you got it. I was literally about to put the picture up.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
awesome.
That's fine.
So yeah, this is what I found. And I got to
need
looking
that
at the
doll.
stamp on the back. All the rest is, original. But the stamp on the
Wow.
back, I could date the doll. I could figure all that out. But her eyeballs were taken out. That's screws in her eyes. Inside her head was a whippet, a string, a key that looked like maybe one of those old diaries, like real flimsy keys, and a bone. Now, this bone, I'm going to say it's a fish bone. I don't know. That's kind of what it looks like, either a vertebrae or a fish bone. I don't know. But yeah, that I left it there, of course. And the lady called me probably 2 months later, 3 months later, and said, "Do you want this doll?"
No way.
I said, "What do you mean, do I want the doll?" She goes, "I'm throwing it away." I said, "The hell? Send it to me." She did.
You want the doll.
Yeah,
But
she packed it up. She sent it to me. I kept it for a long time. And then Jeremy was doing a bunch of traveling. So it was his turn to take her places.
She's
That's
she's even been a guest on one of our shows. I mean, I know Jeremy's. Remember that, Jeremy, when we did my birthday, when we had our birthday celebration? He opened up I think it was on his phone or something, and put Lucy right on camera just so she could be part of the online party.
Oh
That's
wow.
awesome.
I can tell you, she
So
slept
where
on
is
my
she now?
headboard. For
Huh?
years, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with Lucy.
But
Yeah,
where is she
was
now?
she was speechless on my birthday. I was like, Lucy hasn't really been talking too much since she came on.
She is in Indiana with Jeremy. She lives with Jeremy.
Yeah, that's awesome. She's awesome.
Mhm.
One other thing I wanted to point out too, and this actually goes back to the skull that you were talking about, Adrian. And I don't know if you did this yourself, but believe it or not, I actually somehow had the opportunity to hold that damn thing, and it's literally one of the most bizarre feelings you could ever have,
Yeah.
towards an object. Like at first, because I will be honest, from part of my past, it's like I kind of denied, no, this can't be a real human skull, because
Yeah.
I for 3 years I worked at Spirit Halloween, so
Mhm.
we have a lot of those fake skulls there all the time. And and I thought to myself, no, this has got to be a skull they got from Spirit Halloween. But literally in your heart that it's a real one, and it's just, again, really one of the most bizarre feelings you could ever get. It was strange, really strange.
Well, they left it there. The police left it there. She called her. It was a friend, and she called her in as kind of a favor. But they said there's nobody missing. There's nobody been missing. There's no reason for us to take it. Some of the Masons were doctors, and it's very possible that they brought it in for a prop. So that was the end of
Something
that.
from medical.
Ricky, Fred, and Ethel joined Lucy. The hell's Ricky, Fred, and Ethel?
Ethel? Who's
Yeah,
Ethel?
Ricky, Fred, and Ethel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you this. Paul and I were at a location, and we can't really share the location we were at for this particular experience, but they found a human skull and we were allowed to
Oh,
hold,
yeah.
right, and we were allowed to hold this skull, and it was an absolute, for me, it was an absolutely serene experience. Just holding it, you get this shockwave for me through my body. I don't know, Paul, when you held it, it was
Not
was just
quite that
cool.
experience.
Yeah.
It was awkward to know that it was a true human skull,
Yeah.
but
it was found on site during renovations.
they were doing renovations and found it amongst the stuff that they were putting back out.
Yeah.
In a box. Wasn't it in a box with a cowboy hat?
Yes. Yes,
Oh.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. But they said they were going to put it out. Right?
Oh, I know what. Sorry, I just realized I know what Robert was referring to. I Love Lucy, the TV show.
Oh, Ricky. Oh,
Ricky,
wow.
Fred, and Ethel from I Love Lucy. Yeah.
Wow, that flew right over my head.
Me too, because I watched a lot of those
right there. That shows someone's age right there.
I'm going to tell you a really quick, short story, if you don't mind. So, talking about dolls,
Peanuts.
a friend of mine came to me and brought me this doll, right? And I have a couple of haunted objects, but the friend of mine brought me this doll, and they're like, hey, here's this cool doll that we found at a estate sale, and the lady that had passed was a voodoo priestess. And so they brought me this doll in a Ziploc bag, and it's got a piece of foam in it. And this doll is comprised of, I wish I had a picture of her, some straw and a little bit of cloth and a really weird look on her face, right?
Oh, you're not in the new house.
So it is in the new house. So I put it in my truck, facing away from me, in this Ziploc bag with a piece of foam behind it, and in my driver's door of my truck. And I'm like, okay, I'll sit down and I'll deal with it whenever I have time. And this was last September-ish. And so a few weeks go by. I did read that. A few weeks go by. And my dome light in my truck in the front starts, on the driver's side only, starts flickering, which is not a big deal. Lights go out all the time. And I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks later, the rear dome light, driver's side only light starts flickering, which is still not that big of a deal. And I didn't think much of it. And then about 3 more weeks go by. This all stayed in my truck for like 6 months. About 3 more to 4 more weeks go by, and my driver's side headlight goes out. And these are pretty new headlights. So I thought maybe there's something to this. Let's see how long it goes. Mm-hmm. And so then my wife and I left town, and whenever we came back from where we were, a tree in our front yard had fallen on my truck, and only on the driver's side, didn't break any windows, but there's a huge dent about this big above my driver's side door and about this big above my driver's side rear door. The only damage to the truck. And so I put this new doll next to my doll that I have named Elizabeth. And so far, she's been very happy with a friend. Hello, Jill. How are you?
Yeah, Jill's back.
We love Jill.
Oh,
so we want to go on an investigation with Jill. I think she's close to us.
She's in California.
California?
Oh, that's not anywhere near us.
I was going to say she just recently actually became a remote member of the Actual Things group, and we're going to be training and teaching her just a number of basics, and then when she's ready, she's actually going to be starting a chapter of her own of things for the state of California.
Very cool. That's awesome.
We got that will bring officially 9 chapters of things.
That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, that's I believe 6 chapters here in the United States and 3 overseas in Europe.
Nice.
Yeah, we're growing.
So I told you that story not to not to get all the reactions, but I told you that story to tell you that our last location, and only because Jeremy has a video that we shared with him, but our last location in season 3 is the Myrtles, which is known to be haunted by Chloe, the servant girl. And so in our course of interviews, a really cool story came out that she was buried in water so that her spirit could not come out and carry any evil with her back to the place of her death. And that is a little bit steeped in voodoo and voodoo ritual. And so I just want to share that because I love the history of the places we go and the things that we learn like that. I think that's the awesome part of what we do. But Jeremy does have a video whenever you guys are ready. It's like, I don't know, 20 seconds or 30 seconds.
There we
You
go.
guys wanted this.
He's not a crazy person, but he can have a conversation with Kate Winter like I'm talking to you.
You guys have asked for this.
William takes his last breath in his wife's arms.
Well, we got it for you.
I love the Myrtles. It's the second home. The second home.
That's awesome. I love it.
That little lady you spoke to there at the end, she just seems, I like her energy.
Yeah.
Miss Hester?
I guess.
She's on in the rocking chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's awesome. I loved her. She was so great. We invited her to breakfast that morning to come and sit with us and talk because she was just absolutely wonderful. I loved Miss Hester.
Robert just said I predicted things down under, for Australia. Hey, you never know, Robert. That would be awesome. Only
Now-
time will tell.
I will say, as far as you were talking about the water and the voodoo culture,
Yes.
what I did learn is in the, I'm not going to say Satanism culture, but the darker culture. Water, when you put somebody in water, it is so that they can freely move around.
So-
Just a different aspect on the whole thing.
I know personally, I know water to be a conduit,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep,
especially
yep.
flowing water.
Exactly.
In voodoo and hoodoo, the belief is that if you take the body and you bury it in water, weigh it down, bury it in water, especially flowing water, it carries the body, which carries the spirit, because the spirit can't get through the water, away. And so therefore the spirit can't find its way back. And that's the belief, right? So I'm a big believer in intent. Whatever intent you
Yes.
put behind an object, if you have enough energy put into
Yes.
it, it will be. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I really honestly, I don't know Paul's opinion about that actually.
Oh, about the water and the voodoo?
The intent.
Yeah,
The intent.
the intent. Yeah.
Intent, I think intent is a lot to do with it. I know everybody, like we were talking at the very beginning of the episode where people, send you stuff, oh, it's demonic. We have not been anywhere where I felt danger. Even when there's something creepy going on, even when the obelisk is sitting there going devil, hell, I still don't feel
Right.
danger. So, maybe it's because I've only been doing this for 2.5 years. I haven't come across that, but I just don't feel the danger involved in this yet. Now, I could be proved wrong in the next hunt. I don't know. But, everybody that, when they go, oh, you ghost hunt, you're not scared of the demons? I'm like, there's no demons. No, it's,
So
90 hold on, Mark. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
90% of the stuff that we get or that I have witnessed is mostly them saying a name or some very simple words. Nothing like I'm coming after you, nothing, I'm coming home with you, nothing like that at all. So to me, the intent, as far as maybe voodoo or something like that, if you have evil intentions, maybe, but as far as going somewhere that we think, is haunted, it's mostly somebody that was so attached to a place that when they died, they just would not leave.
Right.
And that's not evil,
Right.
that, and as far as, now voodoo intent where somebody's cursed or something like that could be a whole different situation.
Mhm.
But we just haven't come across any, especially evil intent.
Well, and if you go ahead, Adrian, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, I've only been doing this. I'm no expert. Nobody is, but I've only been at this going on 6 years. That's it. And when I first got into the field, I believed anything anybody told me, especially my leader, which turned out to be a bunch of bullshit.
Yep.
So, I do have to say, I'm now a holistic healer. I work with crystals, and intent is huge with that. I do think like we can put out, and to simplify it, we can put out good vibes, we can put out bad vibes. That's intent. You can get near somebody and just know, there's something wrong with you, and you don't want nothing to do with them. You just don't match.
That's living. There's a lot of people I don't want.
Right. And there's a reason for it.
Right.
It's not just you look at them and go, I don't like the look of that person. There's a reason. It's energy. It's karma. Karma. No,
People
it's
have
energy.
horror. Yeah.
Our souls, whatever it is we want to say it is. I think it's all the same thing, no matter what we call it. But
Right.
I have luckily run into one, and I wasn't there, not my thing, but one that I honestly believe was demonic, not to the point of, we're going to run up the walls like they talk about in the Conjuring House or anything else. But this family invited it, called it, opened themselves up and said, I am your vessel. Come to me.
Right.
Well, what do you think's going to happen? It ain't going to be anything good.
Exactly.
I mean, you do that to an animal, say, come here, I'll be your dinner.
Yeah. Come here, tiger. Let me pet you, Crunch.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you just don't mess with things that you're not. If you didn't think you could, if you thought you can control that dark, whatever you want to call it, devil, whatever, your ass needs to go to a psychiatric ward in the first damn place.
Right.
Because there's good and evil in this world, no matter what you want to call it.
Right.
We all see it in people every day.
Well,
But no, there's
you brought up
I said bye. No.
you brought
I
up
love
two
my
good,
grade.
you brought up two
Yeah.
good points.
If
what
you
I
did
was
it
saying-
yourself, then that's on you.
Yeah, I was going to say you brought up two good points, because to start off with, and I know for a fact that we have probably said this on multiple times on the show, as well as many others, that first off, to start off with, like we were just talking about, more than not even a majority of the time, it's not even demonic, but even if there is something aggressive at some location, it's probably just some jerk that, some guy that may have just been a jerk in life and still was even after death.
Mhm.
And then the other
Sure.
thing too, and I've talked about this a lot. I mean, I've done a residential case, which to this day I still believe was the only one that was actually a true demonic case. Now, I guess to kind of compare it with yours, did they invite something in? I'm not entirely sure, because there were other paranormal entities in this house. So whether or not they conjured it or invited, I don't know, unless, because they had to live there for a number of years, unless it was the people that lived there before them that brought it and just left it there so it could attach to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
possible.
And we do have to remember from, this is not a science. So from what we gather from people that we respect and that, their opinions, your energy, say a bipolar person that's not on medication, somebody who's suicidal, somebody who is just constantly angry, somebody, with really intense feelings, can project an entity of its own. Just like we walk into a place and we know, something bad happened here. Or, this doesn't feel right. I think that's projecting, even if it's residual, it's projecting those feelings and they stay. Can it produce an entity? I think so. Because energy is, what you're projecting is energy.
Sure.
What is a being is energy. So maybe. But, these things, like you go from that, okay, some people can call that demonic because it's dark. Yeah, it's dark. But did it come from the depths of hell? Probably not.
Right.
Sometimes I think the depths of a human mind is worse than anything in the depths of hell.
I think so too, especially the mentally ill or unmedicated. I can't imagine. And that's something I've always said that the medical field needs to look into is the difference between schizophrenia and actually being able to see things. Because I know people that can see things, but they know that they can see things. So they back away from it. But, where's that fine line there? How many people that are medicated for seeing things that really are not schizophrenic?
That they're really seeing things,
Yeah. I don't know. Is the veil thinner for some? Probably. I don't know. But what I have learned is energy. Jan and I work with energy. And if you can trace an energy line back, you can trace it to everybody they know or it's when you learn, it's something you can see. You see energy lines and you see them as colors connected to people. And if you follow that energy line, okay, I'm just going to use an example that we know. There was a child that was conceived to be evil with that intent. I mean, that's what it was meant to be. It was conceived in the demonic ritual, whatever they decided it was.
I told you not to talk about my childbirth.
So that energy line in which this child as an adult disconnected from the family because it was not what the family intended for that to be and turned out to be the opposite. But you can still follow, which I know both the child and the mother. You can follow that energy line and it's still there. And they can still send very negative things through that energy line to that person and cause health issues. They can cause suicidal thoughts. They can cause almost entities to form where that person is, no matter if they're in contact with them or not. Now, how that works, I don't know. I would love to study it and know how it works. I would love to know how to cut that energy line to where that cannot happen anymore. But we have not learned that yet. But, if some of those things can happen, who's to say what can and can't?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And to touch on what Paul said a second ago, I agree with him. Sometimes, your equipment will say things or put off things that want to make you believe that there's something there that's negative. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like sometimes personally that it's just whatever entity or whatever is there doesn't want you to be there. It doesn't mean they're a negativity. It just doesn't want you to be there. And so they'll say things to kind of drive you away.
Like they did that guy that night. That came across. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah. But, but there was nothing there negative at all. It was a very welcoming place for the most part. But I have been to one location that, more than one, but since we've been filming, I've been to one location that was absolutely, I want to go back, but I don't want to go back kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
And
which one?
in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that was Yorktown Memorial Hospital. And I
I
truly, in
didn't
my
get to go
heart
to
of
that.
hearts, believe that place absolutely holds a very dark something. And it can be, if you're not careful, it could be a very dangerous situation if you put yourself there and you
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
if you're not
It really is.
I know two people personally. One was an ER nurse, which he's in his 70s now, so that was a while back. And then one that I think we all know, he's now doing, he's done some stories and now he's kind of doing some filming of his own. But the one had experiences in the hospital. He was a pastor on top of being an ER nurse. And he said that there was a part of that hospital. He said that entity followed him. He saw it more than one time. And I thought, the first time, okay, you're tired, you're working 12-hour shifts, the black dog.
Right.
But he said he felt so scared and just took off running. And the nurses said, yeah, we've seen the same thing. Which, okay, so I believe this guy. And then the other one, David Childers is who the other one is.
Yep.
All his stories that he's got, if I have no reason to disbelieve what he's saying. And this thing almost drove him to suicide. So,
Oh yeah.
I do believe it can happen if you allow it to. And some people, if you're in a weak part of your life, if something else has happened, you're not strong enough to stand up to it. It can happen to anybody. I mean, we all have, say your parent dies, your husband dies, your wife dies. You're going to be very vulnerable. So,
right.
And I would like that equipment you're talking about. I would like to have a scientific way to figure out that it's not picking up words around it, even when it's shut off like our phones do. Or,
Right.
we're talking about the hospital or we're talking about whatever it is and it picks up words from it and just spouts them out. I don't know.
Right.
But I would like to find a way to figure that out. If phones can do it, why couldn't anything else?
Right.
I
So
agree.
that's a skeptic in me trying to figure out, okay, how does this work? I want to know this really works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, talking about being a skeptic and how it works, that's Marcus always fusses at me because, I'm like, is there anyone here? And nothing, or I'll say, what's your name? And you get a name. And so then I'm saying the same questions over and over again. And Marcus is like, Paul, they've already answered that. Move on. And I'm like, I want them to say it again to prove that it wasn't just a glitch.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Before I can even move on, I need them to say their name again because I just think that was a glitch. But there's been a couple of places where we went where we've had the same names on multiple devices.
Yeah.
When other people are asking the same question. So, the one place in particular, which is it's the old theater here in Lake Charles that we've hunted twice now. But we got the same names. Didn't y'all get the same names the second time you hunted it?
Yes.
But that's really all they'll give is a name. They don't answer any other questions, but they give their name. And on the Ovilus and on the S-Box, we've had the names come up.
But the second time we went, we did, and I don't think you Paul couldn't make that second one, but we did get their names, but it was in multiple voices. So,
I think the voice thing isn't really their voice. I think it's just what they can pick up around them and what comes out. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's ever really their voice.
Right.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. So some people just don't have the to fight back or are ashamed and embarrassed talking about true evil victimizing them. And that
if they are not in that place, like I understand what you're saying because it is shameful. I have heard the stories of this last one. And if she wasn't so into what she was doing, it would be very shameful. If it was me, I would never repeat what was done and what was said ever. And I thought I was reading worse than a Stephen King novel when I was hearing this story, and I'm like, above my pay grade. I'm sorry, I don't know how to help. Go to the Catholic Church. That's all I know to tell you, because I can't. It's not for me to do.
Right. It's happened to Josh. He's hurt himself. Vocal manipulation that Robert just wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about
Antoine, hit me up anytime. We can talk about it.
that.
Earlier, Josh said he's seen pure evil. So, Josh, you can never hunt with us. I don't want you anywhere around me.
You're welcome anytime, Josh.
No.
Now he's actually probably a little bit closer to you guys. I believe he lives down in Florida.
Oh, we'll go over there.
We'll go to
Yeah.
Florida.
We'll go to Florida.
So
I might
a
be
while
on Lake Okeechobee.
Well, a while ago,
Next mother-in-law, pure evil.
a while ago, Jill said something that I totally agreed with.
Is that this one here?
Let me see if I,
'Cause I'm going back.
one more back.
This one here.
One more. I'm sorry. One more.
Okay, I got the next one right. Okay, this one.
That
Is
one.
this the one?
So
Okay, there we
we
go.
were talking
There we
about. Yeah. I think that is spot on. I think that if you go into a location and your expectations can affect what you receive. So if you go into a location and you expect whatever stories you've told, and that's why and Paul agrees with me on this, I know. That's why I like to go into a location with minimal experiences other people have had. Yes, I want to know the history. Yes, I want to know who owned it, who died here, but I don't want to hear other people have seen XYZ. I want to go into it and what do I feel? What do I see? And what do we as a group? And you can ask Paul, we change out our people to get different energies put together because everybody has a different intent going into it.
Right.
And somebody like me and Paul can go into a room and get zero evidence. And if I leave the room and we send our guestigator in with Paul, they're going to get all kind of evidence because their energy brings about a different result than mine. And so I fully agree with that. And
I would love to do an experiment. And
go ahead.
I would need other teams to do it too, along with us, because if it was just us, it doesn't matter. But tell a story about a place. Doesn't even have to be a place that you've ever been or, no history to it. Tell a story about it to a certain team. Tell a different story to a different team. They go in the same night, switch out.
Jan, I think I was in
to see what they come out with.
See if they come out with bits of the story that you told them,
or the truth.
Right. I would like to do that just to see how much can be put in our heads. And I'm like, Jan, I don't want you to tell me before I go in. Now I do want the full history when I come out, but I don't want to know when I go in.
Although, to be completely honest with you, though, Adrian, I mean, as you guys remember, a week prior before we went, I did a Nick Files episode on the Abbey. I already knew for a fact that you were not going to be watching it because I remember you said that before.
I'd already been there.
Well, yeah, you've already been there, but in addition to that, regardless of the fact, there was others out there that wanted to know about this place. I think Jeremy was probably one of them that was watching.
Oh, yeah.
So he got a full, good detail of what I was able to present.
But Jeremy doesn't come out with things like, I felt this or I heard this or, unless it's a bang. He doesn't, like some of us get names or we'll get a flash of something or a feeling of something. If he does, he doesn't say it on any location. He just never has. But I would like to see some teams, write down what they got when they're in there. I'm a believer in a pen and pad. I because you can write it in the moment. And
I agree. I agree with that last statement, Jill. All they want is the truth in the end. I agree with that.
right now,
That's what we're looking for.
residentials a lot of times don't want to hear the truth.
No, they
They
don't.
don't.
But so with residentials, it's a little more difficult, in my opinion, because they call you. So obviously, you want to hear their story, what they experienced.
Right.
As far as other locations, you know, I want the history, the factual history that we can prove, and then I want to go in with my own. This is the knowledge I have, and this is the experience that I will have, and I don't want to go in and hear that Adrian was in there last week and she felt something shove her left shoulder. And Nick was in there last week and he untied his shoes and he didn't realize it, which I would expect that from Nick. And then, you know, Paul was in there and, you know, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear these are the facts.
Right. Yeah. I don't, you know, I love doing residentials to help people, but the last few I've done, I don't know if it's the weed that runs rampant here in Colorado or what the hell's going on. But I'm going to tell you, the last residential we did, minus the one I helped another team with, I really believe this woman that she was mentally ill. But there was a little boy. That's who I wanted to help, was that little 7-year-old. And we did. I gave him a crystal and he believed that would help him, and it did. That's all I cared. But while we're there investigating, it was just me, my husband, and my elderly father-in-law. And these people start coming over. Oh my gosh, you got to go. Like we're celebrities. And I'm like, no, we can't do this. All of a sudden, they're drinking and fighting. I said, we're out. We're dead. we're
and it was kind of a different story for the one that, you know, of course, obviously that I just did a few weeks ago with Joe's crew. Of course, it's different over there because obviously it was in Wisconsin in this case. And
no mushrooms, no psychedelics.
I don't think that's even legalized in Wisconsin. I don't even
I'm
know.
not sure where that's legalized, but
I thought psychedelics were legal in Colorado now.
I don't know to what extent. I did see them in the smoke shop. You know, mushrooms. Here's dried out mushroom. The hell.
I don't know about mushrooms here in Chicago either. I know we got them. I know we got, you know, weed legalized, like, because we got shops around Chicago and stuff, but I'm not so sure about the mushrooms though.
You do understand that the psychedelic mushrooms grow out of cow shit, right?
They do.
You can go to you go out to a cattle farm, you see that mushroom, you pick it, you eat it, you wish you never did.
That's where peyote comes from.
Yep.
Well, that's another good reason why I've never liked mushrooms at all, like whether food wise or whatever. I may work them at a grocery store, but I do not eat them though.
At the grocery store, they're fine.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying I don't like any mushrooms whatsoever.
Oh my goodness. Boy, you need.
So I like mushrooms.
I do too, but not shrooms. I see enough shit on my own. I'm like, what did I just never? No, I didn't see a damn thing.
You can see so clearly, though.
I don't want to hear colors and see music.
Oh, truck! Well, believe you say that. I saw that too when I told you about that edible story. I saw that myself. That was horrible.
Edibles don't do that to you unless they're laced with
this one did.
Psychedelics.
It was probably mushroom edibles.
I honestly believe that one was laced. So yeah, I saw that, and I definitely do not want to go through that again.
No, please don't.
That was a nightmare.
Just if you don't know what it's not sealed, don't eat it. Just don't eat it.
It wasn't.
I had pizza. Wow.
Chris, I believe that.
That's awesome.
He lives here too.
Chris's pizza was talking.
I wonder if some of the growls.
That's a good point that Jill just brought up.
Spirit. That's something I had not thought of. That's a possibility. Chickens talk to you? Oh, do they now?
Did you ever fight one?
Okay, Jeremy, is that after your surgery on the meds?
I was gonna say, did you ever fight one?
No,
like
that was on a random Tuesday.
Jeremy, when I lived on the farm, the cocks talked to me every day too.
On
They'd
the
wake me
next
up in the morning.
episode of Chicken Farmers,
I can't.
I lived on the New Mexico border, so it was fighting roosters.
oh gosh,
Yeah,
but-
I was married to the head cock. That's right. I was.
We're losing. them.
yeah,
No
yeah.
longer.
It was before I was born, Chris.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, for what Chris.
Josh,
I-
you know damn well I'm not going to stay. Well, I'll stay on point. Whatever point's made right then and make it nasty.
Always talking to the animals. We seem to understand each other. Just all animals, even chickens.
Jill, that's really interesting. I have told people, and I want to know if you're the same way. I haven't met a lot of people like this or would admit it. I don't know. When I was younger, I thought everybody knew what an animal was feeling. Like you can look in their
Yes.
eyes and know they're hurt, they're hungry, they're sad, they're scared. You know, obviously they're not going to talk to you, but you know what they're feeling. You can look in their eyes and know what they're feeling. I thought everybody could do that until one day I was like, you know, it was my ex-husband and I said something about the dog and he's like, what are you talking about? I said, look at
Jeremy.
his eyes. He's in pain. And he's like, those are his eyes. What the hell are you seeing? I'm like, oh. So I started asking people. I'm like, most of them were like, no.
was that
Like-
before or after you had mushrooms?
Way before.
Oh,
But I was like this growing up. My dad was a vet. I slept with baby tigers in my bed because my dad was a vet for the zoo and we had to take care of the baby tigers.
that's cool.
I thought everybody could do that. And apparently I was very, very wrong.
Very much.
Yep, here you go, guys. What Josh just said. Well, it's
Y'all
south.
come
Let's
south and let's
investigate.
investigate. I'm down.
I'd like to. I just got to figure out a way to come down. Although Jeremy also wrote this. It's coming to New Orleans next spring. Look at March.
That's
wait, no,
where
wait,
I
sorry.
want to do some major
Baton Rouge.
hunting.
Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. That'd be a
Baton
great
Rouge
Orleans
is
set.
is-
beautiful.
New Orleans is where I keep trying to push Marcus to go. That is one of the
We're
most
working
haunted
on that.
places. It's just
Yeah.
so hard to get into places.
I
what?
imagine
I'm
because
gonna.
of the voodoo.
I agree with that. And you know what's actually, believe it or not, I only came down to Louisiana once, and that was again
That
back.
was enough.
What's that?
I said that was enough one time.
No, no. I was. I mean, that wasn't the actual destination we were going to because again, this was back in high school. We were. It was a spring break vacation that we were on. We were going on a cruise to Mexico, but it left New Orleans. But when we came back from Mexico, from the cruise, we did have some spare time before coming back up here to Chicago. We decided to explore a little bit of New Orleans, and I actually did have the opportunity because again at that time it was among some of my first part-time investigations I did, in which I investigated 3 different hotels, but like only for like an hour each. But we were able to talk to the owners of the building. A lot of them definitely. I don't know if you guys would know one of these places. One of them I remember was a hotel, obviously in downtown, and in the French Quarter, obviously. And they said it used to be a hospital for Confederate soldiers from the Civil War. I don't know if that rings a bell exactly what location that could be, but we
I think
checked out
that's
from the area.
That's
What's
the old hospital just north of Jackson Square. I mean, the old hotel just north of Jackson Square. I can't
It
remember
might
the
be.
name of it.
This was back in 2007, so I don't really remember exactly the name of the building.
Yeah, there's an old hotel that's like one of the oldest hotels in the country that's just north of Jackson Square that was used for a hospital, and I think it was also used for a prison for a little bit for soldiers after it was used as a
Am
hospital.
I not mistaken? Is that the Andrew Jackson Hotel?
No. That's a different one. The one I'm talking about is, oh, I got it. I'm gonna have to look it up. But it's
I'm
not very
looking it up
big.
right now.
Yeah, I could see what the building looks like. I just can't remember what it was called.
Was it like a square? Like it was like a block. It was like
Yeah,
the
it
whole
was like
block.
a giant. I do remember it was like a giant block to it.
What's it called, Marcus?
Is that
I
it?
don't- No, I
can't
don't
see
remember.
that.
No, it was actually in the. I mean, it was actually like in the downtown area in the French Quarter. So it was like literally within the center of the French Quarter area.
Hey,
That
Chris,
sounds like Andrew Jackson.
It
No,
might
I
be.
have
I'll
a friend
look
that
it up
lives
later.
down there, so he can get us in places.
There's a lot of people
Who's
that live down there that say they
That'd
can
be
get you
awesome,
in
yeah.
places, but man, if you can get us in places, I would be down for it.
I know 2 of the voodoo priestess down there that own stores.
So
They love investigations.
I'm
It
just
is
going to
true.
ask Chris Bender,
Yeah.
Chris
Binder.
Binder, Chris and Binder, and Jill. Would you guys mind if I tried to find you on Facebook and friend you guys? Because Jill used to live in Louisiana. It looks like.
Yeah,
Chris
that's what I was about to bring up.
has friends down here. Would that be okay with you guys if I friended you and maybe we could get in contact and make some things happen?
Well, what's actually interesting, you should know, Marcus, is that Jill actually, I mean, she's not only now a member of Things, she's also a member of the Things Network itself. She actually co-hosts with me as well as one of my best friends, Don Elmy, on
Chris says,
Tuesday
yeah.
nights called
Very
Fear Film. It's kind of more of a horror film related type of show, but we still have a lot of fun on it. So
Very
Jill, yeah, so she's actually part of this too. If you want to check us out,
Yeah. You're going to send me the link to that, right?
well, of course, I definitely will. I mean, obviously, next show won't be till Tuesday night, which is you guys are, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are Central Standard Time down there, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so same over here. It's at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday nights.
Okay, Chris and Jill both said yeah.
Yep. There
Excellent.
you go.
Excellent. I'll find you guys and I'll try and friend you on
Don't do it.
Facebook.
It's a trick.
I'll
He's
friend you
like-
on Facebook, and what we do is called a pyramid scheme, and we try and build. No,
If
so
you send us
I'll friend you on
$100,
Facebook.
if you send us
Uh,
$100 and you can get 10 people under y'all to send you $100,
There you go.
we'll all make
Right.
Then we'll
Right.
all be rich.
Down under. That's right, Robert.
But yeah, we'd love to watch your show, and I don't know if you have guests on there, but we'd be on there too if you want. Whatever we can do to help you guys.
So I'll tell you what, because I don't want to say it completely on the show, but I you know what, maybe after the show I can give you a call and kind of
Say
explain
yeah.
a little bit more, if that's okay with you. If you guys have a few minutes.
For sure. For sure.
I don't like scary movies. They scare me.
Well, that's why they're called scary movies.
Well, that's the thing. I cannot watch scary movies simply because we do things that are much scarier than that. If something were to pop out at us, I'm like, okay, yay. Now we know at least what we're dealing with.
That's what I'm
Well,
hoping
yeah.
for.
Well, I mean, think about it, Adrian, and even I was starting to get kind of nervous about this. I'm even surprised you didn't even bring it up when we were talking about the Masonic Temple.
Maybe
during
I was
part of
being
the
nice. Oh, how you
Yeah.
got lost going to the bathroom?
He beat
Wow.
me to it. Long story short, because we do have to wrap it up. But during the investigation, I was with one of the groups, and at one point I had to go use the restroom, and one of the staff members directed me to go where I needed to go, and I don't think I was in there for probably even for a full minute. I walk out, and the group that I was with was gone. I was like, where the hell did everybody go?
Disclaimer. We were with Mustafa
No, we were. We were with
Gadalori. Yes, we went with him.
But I'm saying this now. I do not blame him in any way, shape, or form. I was more pissed off that the staff member didn't stay and waited, because literally, like, next 5 minutes or so, I was literally lost in the building. Like I said, like you see this picture, it's a huge building,
I
and
would have loved that.
well, at the same time, I probably would have done a solo investigation if I was able to, but I know I needed to meet up with the group. All that was going through my mind at that point was, how was I going to get out of this basement because it seemed like each direction that I took, I was just getting deeper and deeper into the basement. So I
There's
knew
only
I was
one
going the
set of
wrong way.
stairs going up. The rest for the chute for coal and where the elephant got stuck and all that.
I couldn't find any of that. I mean, that base.
Yeah,
it's
they had
big
the
black.
circus elephant, like what is that? What was that group? They're still around, but anyway, it was circus elephant.
And I found all the bodies.
He got loose, and he got down the chute. Well, of course, they're not going to get him back up, so they had to put him in the huge furnace to get rid of him.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I bet that
it was,
smells good.
Yeah, like chicken.
I mean, essentially, I wasn't scared being by myself during this whole case. Like, if I was going to experience anything paranormal, it was just the fact that I couldn't find my way. And when I finally found the stairway, I literally just bolted up the stairs, and I was pissed off. I was angry. Probably the angriest I think I've ever been on an investigation.
That'll attract some shit.
Should have been with me running wire down the stairwell from the top floor.
I ran that twice, and I'll be damned if I'll ever do that again. 7 floors of those steps hurt like hell. My
Hey,
fat ass
sometimes
won't
you
do
gotta
that
do
again.
things like that.
Yep. Somebody stay down there. I'll stay on the top, and I'm going to drop it.
Well-
You can catch it down there. Nobody walks.
That's right. We got to learn how to do it a little bit better.
Well, the other problem was too, I mean, to make matters worse, because I know some people ask, well, why didn't you call somebody? This building is so big that it literally can jam up, your internet connection. So I could not.
We had internet.
I didn't. I seriously didn't. When I was,
You don't have signal in your own home most of the time. Change companies.
I seriously could not get signal, so I couldn't call for help or anything like that. I was on my own.
He's lying. He's lying. The truth is, he couldn't push that log out, so he was stuck in the restroom for 30 minutes. And didn't want to know.
Well, we already know the other direction he went with that. He wasn't even in there a minute. He didn't wash his hands.
Oh, I did.
You wash your hands for a whole minute. Remember, sing happy birthday.
He spent 30 minutes trying to push that log out and got lost.
My team, people.
Sorry.
Don't even get started, Jeremy.
Oh my God. How did we get off on this shit?
Yeah, seriously. I was just about to wrap things up. I didn't think it was going to go that
No, you
way.
weren't wrapping it up. You were starting a whole new episode.
He was thinking.
It's not.
He was in that bathroom thinking in his mind back to Lamar's class. Breathe, push.
And do the hand soap dispense. Oh God, here we go. All righty.
You're either clean or you weren't.
I mean, I
There's no
wasn't
in
there.
between.
I wasn't there, but I just pictured that when y'all, I said, lost for 30 minutes. I wonder what he was doing.
Jill, I wish we could, but we can't. We got to really wrap things up.
Do we have somebody behind us?
Yeah, we do. That's why it's myth or mystery. So we got to end this. But I just got to say very quickly, Marcus, Paul, thank you guys coming. I mean, once again for coming on.
Thanks for inviting us.
What's that? Sorry,
I said it's been a pleasure.
And I was saying thank you for inviting us. Hopefully next time we can do paranormal talk and not bathroom talk.
Or crawfish.
We'll have to leave Nick out of it, and we'll have to let the audience not comment because I'll get sidetracked.
No.
Crawfish talk
You
is
gotta have
always
Nick.
appreciated.
You know what? I mean, you said it earlier, Marcus. I mean, it's a shame that Eileen wasn't on for it tonight, but I was your favorite again.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you recording now? Is that the problem? I don't know.
Nick.
What's up?
Nick.
She said, you got to wrap this up. You're going to get in trouble. That's what she's saying.
Hey, I will say this. Thank you so much for having us. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thanks for having Paul on with me this time.
Yes.
And, if you guys are looking for a little time to kill and you want to watch a paranormal show, Spirit Guides LC on YouTube. And check out our Myrtles episode. It's our first hour episode. It was awesome. We had a great time.
Ooh, I'm off tomorrow.
I wish I could say the same. Today was my day off.
You're off every day.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
We'll talk about that later. Anyways,
Jeremy, you're not wrong.
But anyways, yeah, thank Marcus, Paul, thank you guys once again. And you know for a fact that you guys are coming back. I mean, when I got the message saying that you guys were coming on, I'm like, I knew he was going to be back sooner or later.
You actually said that.
Yeah, I love this show. We're happy to be here anytime you want us. Anytime we can come on, we'd love to.
Consider it done. Consider it done. But anyways, yeah, Marcus, like I said, I'll call you right after we get the show just to talk more details of Fear Fans. Paul, if you want to be
I'm
part
sorry. You're going to be on till midnight. Have
No,
a
I
good night.
won't. That is not happening. That is not going to happen. Say it like, oh my God. All right. All right.
Yes, Jill, thank
Y'all
you.
have a
I
great
appreciate that.
And,
Thank y'all again.
we'll talk to
Y'all
you
have a good night. Thank
guys
you.
next week.
Bye.
Have a good one.